This is Entering the City of the Pale by Bal, or Ball, depending on your interpretation. This was a level made for I believe, the 2018 Christmas Map Jam. This is classic Quake, in case you aren't initiated. Yes, people are still making levels for Quake from 1996, although, as you can see, they're quite a bit more detailed than they were back then. This is thanks to modern level editing tools and modern source ports. The Quake source code was released, I don't know, sometime after its release, thanks to John Carmack. And the community has built what are called source ports, which are basically just re-implementing the Quake engine so it can run on modern hardware at modern resolutions at nice high frame rates, and specifically what's called limit removing. So basically, even though, yes, I mean, it is classic Quake, but most of these levels could not have run in the Quake engine in 1996. This is played on hard difficulty from a pistol start with no saves. Basically, if you don't know what that means pistol start is I don't bring any resources in from other levels. Hard difficulty is the second to hardest difficulty in Quake. And no saves just means I didn't save at all during this playthrough. I played the entire level from start to finish, which means you can't die. This level isn't particularly difficult. It took me, I'm not the greatest Quake player, I'll admit. I don't know. Somewhere south of a dozen tries. But I really like this level, and Bao made another level, a level called Tears of the False God, which, man, that level made me fall in love with Quake. I am far too young to have played Quake when it was released. I don't have any nostalgia for Quake. Quake is older than I am. I had a lot of respect for Quake. I'm fascinated by gaming history, and Quake is an extremely, extremely important video game. But I remember, I think I got the game on GOG like years ago now, and I remember playing through the original id levels, and I remember liking it, although it was quite the experience. Quake is quite difficult, I think, the first time you play it. If you're not used to old school gaming, or even just, I don't know, Quake is something else. There's a lot of muscle memory you need to develop. Specifically, I would say the ogres, which I don't think there are actually too many in this level, but they're the guys with the chainsaw arm that fire the grenades. Learning to dodge ogre grenades is an extremely important skill in Quake. Understanding their attack patterns, how fast they fire the grenades, how the grenades bounce, how big your hitbox is. It's ogre grenades almost made me quit Quake way back when I was playing it for the first time. They are now, I don't even think about it. It's all muscle memory. It's all implanted in my spinal cord. I can dodge ogre grenades in my sleep, but it's very difficult. Honestly, part of the reason I'm not playing on Quake's hardest skill, which is Nightmare, which in the original Quake was basically broken. Nightmare, I think, halved your health, which effectively means that all enemies deal double damage, which is just, that's not a fun difficulty increase. Even with this level, which uses arcane dimensions, which is a gameplay modification to Quake. It's one of the most famous ones. It's I mean, I will always champion classic vanilla Quake, but even if I'm being honest, it's probably just better than vanilla Quake. It adds more enemy variety, but specifically, it makes the shotguns projectile weapons and not hit scan. And I'll explain what that is right after I say that I'm really proud of that projectile dodge, that Vorball dodge. I don't know. It just felt really good to do. But in vanilla Quake, the shotgun weapons are hit scan, which means you simply point the weapon at an enemy and pull the trigger, and there is no projectile. The game just calculates, are you pointed correct? Are you aimed correctly at the enemy? Is there any obstacles in between? If not, you do damage to the enemy. Now, you know, I think it was fine back then. I think it's fine now. I'll play vanilla Quake and any levels that are just vanilla Quake like any day of the week. But when you've tried Arcane Dimensions and when you felt how good the shotguns feel when they're projectiles, it can be hard to go back sometimes. So I highly recommend Arcane Dimensions. Arcane Dimensions is both a gameplay mod and it is also a map pack. This map in particular, Entering the City of the Pale, uses the gameplay mod, but it is not part of the Arcane Dimensions map pack. Honestly, if you were to start with Quake, I would say just get the Arcane Dimensions map pack. It's probably even closer to what the original vision for Quake was, what the original vision that like John Romero had of this like kind of almost what kind of sounded like almost a fantasy kind of RPG FPS hybrid. It doesn't add any RPG elements, but this sort of fantasy idea, you're traveling to all these different dimensions. That's what the Arcane Dimensions is. All the maps are huge. This map in particular, I actually kind of like. This Entering the City of the Pale is small. I believe the map jam that this was made for had some kind of size limitation. And this map looks a lot bigger than it is because there's a lot of geometry outside the play area. In fact, I was audibly disappointed when the map just suddenly ended. It ends when you're finally able to cross the bridge, and I suppose it is entering the City of the Pale and not inside the City of the Pale. But I love the aesthetics of this map. I think it's gorgeous. Combat's fun. Not too challenging, although of course you could bump it up to Nightmare difficulty, which Arcane Dimensions does kind of fix Nightmare difficulty, although I don't know, man. I play these games for fun. I'm not like too interested in seriously pushing myself in Quake. There's just some things about it, you know, the little bits of randomness, and you know, I don't like losing a run to not anticipating the trajectory of an ogre grenade or something. It's just not my thing. I'm much more willing to put that kind of time into arcade games like shmups or beat 'em ups where it's the gameplay's a lot more precise in those kind of games, and that's not an insult to games like Quake or Doom. It's the fact that they are a little loose with gameplay, loose with mechanics. It's what has allowed them to be so enduring. You know, you can remix them into practically whatever you want. But as you can see, I mean, this game is just gorgeous, and you know, more games that look like this, please. I mean, yes, this is running on a modern version of the Quake engine, but this is still just baked lighting, a skybox, you know. But you know, and it's just gorgeous. This I can't recommend this level enough. I haven't really checked out the other levels in this jam, but they seem to be pretty good too. So anyway, that was Entering the City of the Pale.